Do that. Okay, now
Go.
we're recording. Yay! Welcome everybody. Team Adam Zoom, whatever day this is. I don't know, what is this? The 22nd, August 22nd, 2019? Is that all right? Sweet. I'm coming from Florida right now, and we were at convention, and several people had. Oh, Kate's froze up again. That was a good face. Several people talked to me about how they missed our Thursday night Zooms, and we had so much going on with, boot camps and other trainings that we kind of stopped for a little while, but we realized that we kind of missed out on our own little community and our own little family. And sometimes a lot of the trainings can get like the big macro, training over everything. And we like to get some of the micro things in. And I think for us, this is going to be really good to do this every couple weeks. So we're going to do, what do we agree on? The second and fourth, or first and third? First and third. Okay, I couldn't remember. First and third. So we agreed on the first and third. So yeah, this will be the third. And we're going to do that because it's a great way to start the month and a great way to end the month. And so I have Kate and Tammy coming on tonight to share some awesome thoughts, and then I had something that was on my mind the other day that I really want to share with everybody, especially when we're going through a lot of the boot camps and things, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I think I'm going to have Kate go ahead and pop on and share what she wants to talk about. And it's all about all the new health assessments and the new way we're utilizing all the tools that we have now, and I think this is going to be a really important subject. So Kate, go ahead and take it away.
Absolutely. So I definitely wanted to touch base on all of the fun things that are happening within the company. If you've been under a rock, that's the only way that you have not been able to hear that we do have a brand new system that launched. We do have a brand new, well, it's not super brand new, but it's really tweaked nicely, health assessment, and all the ways that we can utilize these tools, and also how do we talk to our old clients that are not yet part of that new system. So first and foremost, we'll start with the very beginning of time. As we have these, don't look at her information here, we have these amazing new health assessments. If you have not, yes, she's a client now. It works. So using these new health assessments, if you have not seen it, hopefully you know how to get to it. If not, I will tell you that you can find these in Coach Answers. So if you go to Coach Answers, you can go straight to, you can say health assessment, it will pop up. There are also links if you wanted to be really tech savvy. You all know that is not me, but there are ones that you can actually edit on your computer or your device or your iPad or whatever, and actually go doot, 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 and it goes on the form. Past me, but I actually did start doing it. So let's just be real. So, yes, optavia.coachanswers.com. Thank you. So go ahead and get in there, print yourself off one. It's just answers. It's coachanswers.optavia.com. I don't know why the Optavia is in the front there, Jay. I'm like looking at it like, that's not right. So anywho, go ahead and print yourself some of those off so that you have some hard copies. Most certainly, if you don't want to use all of your ink at home, you can send this to a place like Office Depot, Office Max, have them make a lot for you. Or if you'd like to have the ones directly from the company, they do have the pads of them. I think they're like $2 or $2.50, and you can actually put them in with your fueling order. So just go to the Coach store all the way over to the left, and you should be able to find those there, unless for some crazy reason they're sold out. But print yourself some of those off. They've been really fantastic. I like the new cadence of these. So try those. So that's the first thing. And then of course, once we have these brand spanking new clients on this brand spanking new health assessment, we do have our new habits of health system. So we are of course ordering that with all of our brand new people, but sometimes we have a hard time with some words for the people that already have the old books. So I don't know if anybody was on the training just a couple weeks ago where they were talking about how they're explaining this to some of the older clients. I will tell you, it spoke directly to me and made the most sense to me. So I have been using it, and I have 3 out of my very, very many clients that have yet to order it. Everybody else has it in their cart or already has it shipping to their home. So what I am using to say is, hey, we've got this amazing brand new system. And so kind of like you're doing the science of your 5-in-1 program, or of course, if they're doing another one, there's actual science for your brain as well. And Dr. A has completely redone the book. It is pertinent information to today. And you'd be absolutely amazed at how it really can start to change your thought process and your habits in a way, just like 5-in-1 starts from the very beginning and works really well scientifically. So if you think of your brain as a computer, you have years and years of downloaded software that you have in there. So now you go and you put on a pair of pants, you don't even think about it. You just do it because you've done it so many times, you just know. That same type of thing is happening with some of the habits that you've had over the years that are not servicing you in your health. Some of them you're aware of, and there's a lot of them that you don't even know. So what this book and life book is doing is helping you uncover a lot of those triggers throughout this entire program. And it's going to help you rewrite your software. So over time, you have a whole new computer system. So when you come out on the other end with that healthy body, you also have the healthy mind along with it. So all you need to do is go to where you get your Fuelings, go ahead and put in your new system, and it can come with your Fuelings. It'll follow the same structure as the Fuelings do as far as shipping. So as long as you have shipping, yay! If it's between $150 and $249.99, apparently I'm getting laughed at because I'm unstable. Great, you're welcome. Hopefully I'm back now. So yay, there's a lot of smiling. That's great. So anyway, so put those in your cart, my little people, and they can come with your next order. So as soon as those do come, we can start on those together, but there's no reason to wait. If you go to our brand new website that came out with the system, it's called habitsofhealth.com. You can remember the way that is written because the current book that you have also says Habits of Health. So habitsofhealth.com. Did you notice I just said that 3 times so they can hear it? Go to that site. You can actually download the first 2 elements in PDF form so you can get started with everybody else right now. And then also, as a group, we are going with our Habits of Health calls on Wednesday. So I've done element 1, element 2. Don't worry, Jamie's laughing, Tammy's laughing, there's a lot of laughing. I don't know. So I have no idea, guys. So anyway, if you go ahead and start with those, we can start those together. And as soon as your book comes, we can continue on because it is not just a week by week thing. It's at everybody's own pace. So that is what I've been talking to my clients about. It has really opened their eyes because they're like, oh, I don't need another book. Yes, actually you do, because it's not just a rewrite of the first one. It is, honest to goodness, you guys have gotten into it. It is completely different. It is absolutely fantastic. So those are the 2 things that I just wanted to touch base, give you a couple words if you haven't figured out how to use words, or if you're coming up against any type of resistance with your people because they're like, but it's $50. Yeah, it's only $50. It's pretty amazing. So that is what I wanted to talk about.
Thank you. And like, it's all about posturing. Like, it's how you posture it. And it's not just like, hey, this came out, you should order it. It's like, hey, I think there's something that they just came out with that's really going to help you long-term on your journey. And they're like, oh, really? What is that? And that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you saw this yet or not. It just came out with this new system. It's really exciting. It's really going to help you long-term. I mean, hey, $50 over the rest of your life, no brainer. Like, if you really want to get the results to be a healthy 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, this is the way to do it. And it's all about that.
I also, real quick, also saying, guess what? I'm also still a client, and I've been doing this for a while. I am doing this as well. And oh my gosh, the things I've already uncovered that I'm still working on that I didn't even notice. So, and yeah, it's true.
And invite them on the journey with you, right? I mean, I'm going to go through it. You guys are all going to go through it. I think every coach should be going through it. They started the Habits of Health weekly, training for the elements. So it's right there. And also, you want to know what you're talking, when your clients ask you something, you want to know what they're talking about. And if they're like talking about element 2 and you're like, I don't even know what that is, then you definitely are going to want to dig in, get that, and start learning. And I think too, like, for all of us, this isn't just about business or being a coach. It's about our own health journey. And that's what this whole new system is about. So love it. All right. So I had a thought the other day, and it kind of stems from a lot of like the trainings, and, obviously we see people that have done exceptionally well with their coaching business on the trainings, right? As they should be, right? I mean, those are the people. Those are the people that are at the top. But we also see people that have taken a little bit longer to get there. And we see people that have all of a sudden, boom, they bought their coach kit, and 2 weeks later they're global directors and they quit their job and they're traveling the world. And you're like, what the heck? Like, I've been doing this for 2 years. Like, I'm stretching to hit executive director, or I'm barely a manager, or whatever it is that you're at. Like, we see that. And sometimes we start looking at ourselves like, what's wrong with me? Or we spend all of our time trying to figure out what these other people are doing. And part of that, I've kind of figured that out. Like, I've recognized that a while ago. And I wanted to just share that with you guys because, one, if you're in this and you're in it to win it and you're like, hey, I want to do this, it doesn't matter the time frame. You know, Tammy's going to talk about a little bit about that, like, you know, a little bit later, like, what has Optavia done for you, right? I mean, look where we are right now. All of us, we're here. We're on a training on Thursday night with a bunch of people that we think are awesome, and we're all getting healthier. Thank you, Optavia. But the one thing that I think a lot of us miss is most of us are going to build this business off social media, right? I mean, it's just the best way to connect with the most people. And we could go out and we could try to meet people at meetings all the time, but we've got kids, we've got lives. Like, that's just not easy to do. So social media is a great way to do it. And so what happens, though, is a lot of times people will just put up a post and be like, I became a coach, and put a post, and they haven't posted anything in 6 months, or their profile picture is the blank gray guy, or it's them like drinking a beer and doing whatever. Like, we forget that we have to build that up. So the people that you see that are on the rocket ship and they just sign up, and all of a sudden, you know, 2 weeks later, they've signed up all kinds of people. Well, there's something that has happened in their life that has brought them there. And it's all about relationship building. So they're either people that are out in the community all the time. They're people that maybe, you know, I hate to use this as an example, but like a pastor, like, that people know, and they may trust them. They might not know them personally, but they have that trust. Like teachers, things like that. These are all people that are building relationships way before they ever thought about becoming an Optavia coach. And those are the people that you see just snap, boom, they sign up, and all of a sudden everybody's flocking to them. They're chasing them down on the street. And then there's other people that have kind of just lived their own little life inside their house. They don't give out much. They don't post on social media. They don't build relationships. And then they become a coach and they wonder why it's taking them so long to get there. It's because it's all built on relationship, and you have to start somewhere. Now, you've already been building that up for years and years and years. Like, I'll talk about Dan. Like, hey, Dan's been a pastor for 20 years. Guess what? He knows a lot of people. Hey, guess where I started? With the people I knew at work. That's pretty much how we got our start. People I knew at work and people that Eileen knew at work. And if it wasn't for that, we probably, I don't know if we'd be here or not, you know, like, I mean, because I probably wouldn't have realized, like, oh, hey, Jason, you got to go start building relationships. And then that's what you do over time. You start building those relationships, and that's how you keep growing. And that's how you keep, you know, you're able to coach for 4, 5, 10, 15 years. But if you haven't done that yet, then you're not going to get those results. It's the saying of, you're either going to reap the rewards of the life you lived before your business, or you're going to pay the price for the life you lived before your business. I know it sounds kind of harsh, but it's basically like, if you haven't been building relationships, if you haven't been investing in people, if you haven't built trust with people, then you're going to have to start now, and that's going to take a little while. That doesn't mean it won't happen. If you choose it, it will happen, but that's going to take a little bit longer, and that's going to be part of your process. That's going to be part of the work, is getting out there, building that social media presence, letting people know who you are, doing those Facebook Lives. Like, Facebook Live is the accelerator for relationships, I think, you know, because people are going to see you and they're going to think they know you already, and be authentic. And I was talking to a guy today that I just met one time. As I talked to him, he referred someone to us today. And Eileen's like, well, how do you know him? I'm like, well, I met him one time at this like Fatherhood Encouragement Project. The only one I ever went to. We became friends on Facebook. He sees lives all the time. He reached out one time. He's like, hey, you want to get coffee? Sure, let's go get coffee. And we built a relationship from that. And now he's trusted me enough to refer one of his good friends over. And so it was all about just being out there and building that relationship. And that's really what you got to do. So if you haven't jumped on the rocket ship and you're like, what the heck? Like, I want to be there. Maybe start looking at that. Start looking at what you did before Optavia, and was it something that was going to help you move forward in it? And if it's not, then fine. Big deal. You start now. But that's the big difference. That's the big difference between the people that just blow it up, is they've already built that. They've already had that building up, just waiting for them to have something to offer all their friends and family. And if you haven't, then you got to start building that up. So hope that helps you. Some guys, some people, I don't know, somebody. For me, it was really helpful to think of it like that, because I'm like, okay, I didn't know a ton of people before starting this. And now I've been doing that and just building and building and building. And over time, obviously, we've been very sustainable. But it also is like, hey, we're not where we want to be. And the only way we're going to get to where we want to be is building a lot more relationships with people and finding a lot more people that need to get healthy. So anyways, that's what I got. Tammy, you are up next.
Hey. Happy Thursday. So happy kids are back in school. Like, thank you, Jesus. Jason, like, kudos to you for traveling with your kids full time. And Krista's probably like, hello, because she loves my greetings. A couple of us had the opportunity to be on a training, and it was given to FitX and above that Corey gave, essentially on like how to build a bigger team, a bigger business. And he talked a lot about tracking numbers and tracking number of conversations and like all of like the numbers aspect, which I like thrive in numbers and I love numbers, but it wasn't that grabbed my attention. It was what he said in probably the last 2 or 3 minutes of this video. And essentially what he said was he talked to us a lot about trying to reach a certain like high level income that a lot of people like to reach. There's definitely like an income level that is like, oh, that'll be the day. Like, so awesome. But so many times, how many of us like to beat ourselves up, like for things we haven't accomplished yet? Anybody out there? Me? Oh, that's totally me. Like, I'm like, oh, I thought I was going to do that by now. Haven't done it yet. Or I was so close and now things are not looking so great. And so many times we really beat ourselves up. We are our worst critic in our health, in our business, and everything. But what Corey said in this video, and it made me start to cry. Like, I'm like, here, this is like supposed to be a training on how to build a big business, and it's making me cry. But what he said was, okay, so you talk about having this massive income with Optavia or this life that you really, really want, and you're not there yet. But if you didn't have Optavia and you didn't have the business you have today, how close would you be to reaching that goal that you now want? And that, let alone, I was like, you know, I could have never dreamt those dreams. I couldn't even dream that I'm where I'm at today, because that wasn't available to me. Like, I would have had to have, you know, go to school and probably work in the city, and I wouldn't be able to be home with my kids because that's the life that I want. Now, not everyone wants to leave their job or spend all day long with their kids, and that's okay. But recognize, like, you may not be exactly where you want to be yet, but realize what Optavia has done for you. And whether it's paying the electric bill or paying the mortgage or paying for your fuelings, which is such a huge step in a lot of people's journey in becoming a coach. See, what you do have in your plan, in your hands, is you have hope and you have a plan on how to get to where you want to be. Now, some people, like Jason said, some people will rocket ship there. Some people will take a little time and grow a bigger journey. Like, both ways are okay. No one said you had to do this in a certain amount of time. Like, that's the best part about this gig. And know that if someone else can do that, so can you. because they're all average people. That was one of my favorite things that when I met Carol Hips the very first time, and I think Jason happened to take a picture of this very moment where I was like in awestruck of Carol. And I was like, I just want to take a picture with you. And she's like, I'm just an everyday person. Like that was the very first thing she said to me. And I was like, you're right, you are. Granted, you're like super awesome and you can dive into anybody's heart, but that's all that everyone is. And all of these great people that have these big businesses, they're everyday people. They fall into structure, they fall into focus, and they fight the battle within them every single day. They fight the battle up here. A couple of us are really like have an amazing opportunity to be, we're in this like leadership coaching program with Helen Irwin. And she said, there's one quote from one of the first lessons, and I wanted to read it because this goes along with growing your business. So she says, my results today are from my focus yesterday. If I want a different result in the future, I have to change my focus. So whatever it is that you want in your future, we lead from the future, we act in the now. So utilize that, lead yourself from that IPD, Tammy, or whatever level that is that you see yourself at, or what income or whatever it is that you're looking to do and why you get up and work on your business every single day. So I guess that's it. Just keep that focus. Don't beat yourself up, and know that without Optavia, would you be the person you are today? That's me.
Thank you, Tammy. And I think the biggest thing for me too, though, is just thinking about if you really just dive in and look at like, where would your life be right now if you hadn't started this? Like, I mean, not to depress everybody, but it'd be kind of depressing. I mean, be honest, I would still be at my job that I was not really happy with anymore. I'm sure I'd be inching up close to 300 pounds. I'm sure I'd be on blood pressure medicine. I'm sure I'd probably be diabetic by then. And the fact that you can actually have those dreams that you would have never dreamt that before. Like there's no part of me that would have ever dreamt of, well, I'm not sure, I'm still dreaming it, but doing what we're doing now, right? Like there is zero part of Jason Adams 2014 that would have thought about doing this. And or that it was even possible. I think that's the biggest thing that was a difference for me, is I used to think of a lot of things that I would dream about. I always dreamed about having a lake house. That was like my big dream. Zero idea how I'd ever make that happen. So someone would say, oh, well, what's a dream? Oh, I'd love to have a lake house. Yeah, I'd love to have a lake house. I have zero plan. I have zero vehicle to be able to get me there, except for maybe by the time I was 70, maybe I'd be able to get a lake house and then not even be able to enjoy it. But now we can dream that way, and we have something that can create that dream. I think that's the biggest thing, is that we actually have a vehicle that will take us there if we do the work and put in the time, fight through the obstacles, and you can get there. So thank you for sharing that. That was really powerful, because I think sometimes we forget to be grateful of where we're at. And I love that quote, that blissful dissatisfaction that Ed Mylett likes to say is, in the moment, like, look at where you're at. Like, hey, you're getting healthy. You have a program that works 100%. Like, there's no guesswork if it's going to work or not. It works. You know that you can get there. You have opportunity to help other people. You have opportunity to create financial freedom for yourself and create new friendships and build a business that is based on helping other people. And you also have an opportunity to create a legacy for your life. I know that's probably getting kind of deep for some of the new coaches, but that's like, if you want it, that's what's here. And you just have to put in the work and decide that that's what you want. If you want it to be a little side gig, cool, awesome. You're going to help some people get healthy. You're going to make an impact in your community. Great. But if you really want to blow it up and really help a ton of people live a better life, and, you know, get on here and do a training and talk about like how their life has changed because of Optavia. Like that's the best feeling, is when you get to, when you know that you saying yes 4 or 5, whatever years ago has led to other people being able to change their lives. That's the best feeling. So thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of us forget about that. It's that be grateful for where you're at. Not satisfied. I'm not satisfied, right? I'm so grateful for where we're at. I've never thought we would ever be here. This is like nothing that I would ever fathom. But I'm not done. And I'm not satisfied where we're at. And that's okay too. Blissful dissatisfaction. All right, guys, I think that is good. We're at 9:58. Well, 9:58 Eastern time. And that was great. Welcome back training. Excited to get these going again. And, you know, for people that you have something on your heart and you feel like you'd like to share it, reach out to your mentorship. I'd really love this to be more interactive and not just, you know, the same people talking every week. Like, we want to hear from other people. We want to hear what's going good for you. Like, want to hear how, you know, how training reacted, or how you reacted to trainings. Like, what have you learned through this process? And, you know, let's just make this beneficial for everybody.
Sylvia, did you want to raise your hand and say something?
No.
Okay, I'll unraise your hand. Okay, cool. Stop recording.